You could have the best marketing, the biggest ad budget, billboards, commercials, trucks everywhere, buying all the leads, but they won't work if you have a weak sales process, right? People say to me all the time, Louis, the marketing doesn't work and the leads don't work. And it's really, the reality is the leads don't work if you don't work the leads. And, this is hard for a lot of moving companies to understand because, the idea is like, hey, somebody calls me and I give them a quote. If they want to move with me, they'll call me back or they'll say yes and they'll book their move with me. But the reality is we're heading into a very competitive time right now. The market share is starting to shrink. And what that means is there's going to be people who dial in their sales process, understand their entire business and how it works, and realize that the sales component's the catalyst for everything else. And there's going to be people who ignore this fact, right? And just think, things are going to pass. And unfortunately, with the decline in housing market, less people moving, it's going to be really hard for these people, right? They may even go out of business, while these people are going to gain market share like they never had before because there's going to be that shift that happens, all right? And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because, when we talk about marketing and we talk about spending money to bring in opportunities, lead flow into your business, the main part of that is the sales process, right? And what I mean is you could have all the best marketing, right? It's like you could have the best fuel because marketing is the fuel for the sales process. Marketing doesn't bring you business, right? It brings you opportunities. Your sales process is what brings you the business. But you could have the best fuel, right? But if you're fueling a 1982 Pinto, right? It's still going to run like a 1982 Pinto, right? If you want it to run like a Ferrari, then it needs to be built like a Ferrari. And that's what you need for your sales process. You need a sales machine. And that doesn't mean that you have to be salesy or a good salesperson or a closer. Like, all that's bullshit. What needs to happen is you just need a process, because in moving, the customers are already moving. They've already expressed interest in what you do. It's not like you're calling somebody and cold calling them to book a move, right? And offer them something they don't need. They've already raised their hand and said, I need a move. Will you provide me an estimate? I may go with you, or I may go with somebody else, or I may choose to do it myself with a rental truck. Your job is to provide excellent customer service, right? Provide an educational conversation leading that customer to understand how the moving process works, not assuming that they know and just spitting out bullet points to them about how your service works, and leading them to do business with your company. That's it. There's nothing hardcore, there's nothing pushy, there's nothing salesy about a great sales process. I call it the moving sales machine. And there's really a few components to that. And a few of them I'll give to you today are, the first one is lead management, okay? Lead management is critical. So when a phone call comes in, when a lead comes in, how you manage that will determine the success and your booking percentage of what you're able to close and the jobs you're able to put on the schedule, right? And that starts with capturing it, making sure that you get the lead into your CRM, into your system, right? Whether it's coming in through a website, whether it's coming in on a phone call, and then how you distribute that between your team, or if it's just you or whatever, you might be watching this and it's like, hey, Louis, I'm just booking these jobs myself, or you might have 30, 40 people in a call center that are booking the jobs for you, right? Either way, you've got to manage the leads. You've got to make sure you're getting back to them quickly, right? You've got to make sure that you're contacting them in different modalities, not just giving them a call, or not just sending them an email, or not just sending them a text, but in different modalities. And that lead management process is critical, right? If you don't start shrinking the amount of time that it takes between when a lead comes in and when you first contact that customer, you're going to get left behind. Simple as that. All right, so the lead management is the first part that's critical. By the way, I'm going to be teaching all of this in depth at Moving Mastery Summit. So if you haven't gotten your tickets already, there should be a link somewhere below this page. Click on it, get signed up. I'm going to be going deep and laying out this entire sales process in depth, October 18th, 19th, and 20th in Scottsdale, Arizona. You don't want to miss this, all right? The second thing is your presentation. right? So now you get them on the phone, right? Because what do you have to do? You basically first have to get them on the phone, then you have to book the job. But first you have to get them on the phone, right? Even if you're going to book an on-site, you still have to get them on the phone first, right? So your presentation consists of, what are you saying to the customer, right? I believe that, that there might be some great salespeople that are born that way, but my belief is great salespeople are just those that know what to say and when to say it, right? And that's all part of a sales process, right? They don't have to be a born closer to understand, what to say to the customer when they call, what to say to the customer when the customer expresses a concern about their grandfather clock or their little dog Fifi that might run out the door, or the fact that they might need to get back to you, or that your price is too high. What they say, the words that come out of their mouth at those moments, are critical to your sales process and will increase your booking percentage. The idea here is that you want to book more of the opportunities that you have, right? You don't want to just pour marketing into a weak sales process, because that's just going to basically put you out of business quicker. You want a strong sales process to where you feel confident to put all the marketing in, and you're going to produce a good amount of revenue on the back end, right? So your presentations, like your sales scripts, your rebuttals to what you say when a customer says your price is too high, which is a big one, because you really shouldn't be playing the price game. Too many people do that, and it's unfortunate, because it's a race to the bottom. Right? It's the quickest way to go out of business, is to just, feel like, oh, I've got to compete. Let me lower my price. But Louis, you don't understand. They're charging $75 an hour, and they're charging $80 an hour. How could we charge, double that, or whatever your price might be? And the reality is, you've got to be able to sell your service, not sell your price. Right? That's part of the presentation. When you walk into their home on an on-site, what's that presentation like? Right? These are the parts that start to put together a sales process. And when this is systematized, it runs, right? It's not this like one-off, oh, here's a call, let me book the call. Here's another one, let me book that one. What happened with that job? What happened with this job? It's a process that you can rely on, that's predictable, that you can look at the numbers, you can see what's happening, you can anticipate what's coming up, and you can make adjustments accordingly, right? The third part of this is booking moves, right? Or closing the deal, right? Getting the customer to say yes. There's nothing wrong with that. If you feel like you do a good job, your company does a good job, right? Don't you want that customer to experience that? I look at moving as a service to the community. And if you are providing that service, you're spending the time to bring in movers, make sure they're doing a good job, you're buying trucks and you're buying equipment, and you really care to go do a good job for your customer, then it's your responsibility to let that customer see why your company is the one to go with, right? And a lot of people say, yeah, Louis, but I don't want to be pushy, right? I don't want to come across salesy. And the reason people feel that way is because at some point in their life, they had somebody that was terrible in sales, didn't understand the real philosophy behind sales, and just was pushy, right? And was a nag. And so they say, I don't want to be like that, right? I don't want to come across that way to my customers. And that's why you have this sales process in a way where it's done elegantly, right? Where it doesn't feel pushy. But you do things like assume the sale, and you do things like roll into the reservation at the end of it, right? To get the job booked, as opposed to just giving somebody an estimate and saying, okay, let me know what you think, right? Or going to do an on-site and telling them, I'll be back. I'll email you later with the price, right? And the reason, it's not because I built a $20 million business that I know this. For the last 6 and so years, I've been helping other moving companies at every level implement this stuff, and have seen like drastic results in their ability to not only increase revenue, but increase profits, because they're not spending that much on marketing. They're maximizing it. For the money they spend, they're booking more. More's coming out of the back end. So your ability to book the job and close the deal on that call or on that on-site is crucial, right? And it's not that hard. There's some simple techniques that are used to do that, right? Your whole sales is a mix of systems and techniques. That's it. Right? But the purpose of every single call is to book the move. And you need to have that mindset going into it. right? The secondary purpose is, sure, we'll provide them an estimate, we'll educate them about the process, we'll provide great customer service, answer any of their questions, absolutely. But you go into it with, I'm not taking this call to give an estimate. I'm taking this call to book this job so we could provide an excellent service, so we could get a 5-star review, so we could get repeat and referral customers, because you don't want to just get one move when you book a move. You want to multiply that move, right? The fourth part of this is follow-up, right? And it sounds so simple, but you'd be amazed at how many people don't do it or don't do it accurately, or they try it and they feel like I'm being pushy, or they feel like I'm being salesy because they're approaching it the wrong way, and they back off. But follow-up, meaning after you give somebody an estimate, after you give them a quote, you can't just wait for them to call you back, right? People make this mistake all the time, and when I'm able to go into a company and make this switch, make this adjustment, or people come and join us at the seminar and they're like, oh my God, that's how it's done, then it transforms everything, right? Because when you follow up with a customer and you do it in an elegant way, right? And when you call and you have a reason for your call, you're not just like, hey, you ready to book yet? Right? You have a reason for the call. Well, what happens is you're actually helping that customer, right? People are busy. When people are moving, there's a lot they've got going on, right? They're trying to figure out what they're going to do with the schools, what they're going to pack, what are they going to do with their cars? Are they going to get rid of this? Are they going to sell it? Are they going to donate it? What about the new house? Do we have this lined up? Do we need to get painters? All this stuff. And when someone follows up, they're like, oh, thank you, right? Thank you. Because you're helping them to check something off their list that is super long, right? So it's just a shift in mindset in the way we think about it. We're going to be talking a lot about the psychology of sales at Moving Mastery Summit so that you and your sales team can really look at this differently, right? You have to, because we're going into a time where, and forget about where we're going and forget about where we are. This is timeless stuff, right? These are the principles that allow me to go from, renting 2 trucks, working out of a truck rental yard, to nationwide $20 million a year. It wasn't just that we ran a good business. It was, no, we got customers in order to service them. So if you really want to help the people in your community and you really want to do a good job, it's your responsibility to have a great sales process to do that. Also, for yourself, for your family, for your peace of mind, for getting off the roller coaster that is moving season, not moving season, January and February, to where you feel like you're going out of business, right? I've been there. But there's a way to shift this. There's a way to turn this around. I'm going to be laying out this entire strategy at Moving Mastery Summit. So if you've enjoyed this video, if this is like starting to click, I know I didn't go deep into it in this short time that we have, come and join us, right? It's coming up here quickly. We're officially out of moving season, and I'm going to be live in person for 3 days, giving everything that I've got about this industry, and not only what I've learned in 22 years, but what my clients have discovered in the past 6 years, and I'm bringing them there to share that with you as well, and some of the top moving companies in the industry. You can't miss this. We've already got 400 plus people. We're close to selling out. We've only got so many people in the room. Click on the link down below. Come and join us. I'm telling you, this is not the time to be complacent. This is not the time to say, Lewis, I don't have the time. I don't know if I could get away. My business, I'm the only one there. Look, I'd rather you close down for 3 days and come here. And the revenue that you lose in those 3 days, you will exponentially make up for it in the next 12 months. That's my promise to you. Come for 3 days, and if for some reason that's not the case, I'll give you your money back. It's not about that, right? It's not about that. It's about service for me. It should be about service for you. You need to service more clients. They will give you repeat business, referral business, 5-star reviews, right? You need the consistency. You deserve the consistency. Without consistent sales, you can't keep good guys, right? You can't keep good movers because, you don't have enough hours for them, right? You can't finally be at ease and work on the things that you want to work on, maybe the systems, the processes, the expansion, the culture, the team. These things become very hard to work on when you're worried about where the next move is going to come from. when you're worried about if you're going to have enough to cover the bills that month, the next month, right? You're living kind of move to move. And this happens at every level, right? Whether you've got one truck, whether you've got 15 trucks. You know, everybody's got an infrastructure that they have, that they've built, and that infrastructure costs a certain amount of money to run, and there needs to be a certain amount of moves that are booked every single month in order to do that. Let me show you how to do this with consistency, with predictability. Click on the button down below. Come and join us, Moving Mastery Summit. I'll see you there. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. If this is your first time here, my name is Massaro, founder and CEO of Moving Mastery. I'll see you soon.